Now you break this down.
Oh, it's
Break
my
it
idea. Okay, all right. Okay, yeah, because you said we're doing all three of our.
Just go
Yeah.
with
Okay,
it
let's
and
see.
we'll
Let's
chat
see if I
about it.
let's see if I can do it. Let me take a hack at it. Okay. Call to Adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say probably he sees it on the screen. So
The text on the screen.
The text on the screen is Call to Adventure. Supernatural aid, I think, is just Trinity.
Trinity what?
Threshold. Trinity helps.
Just
Trinity.
involves
Trinity,
himself, and he accepts it.
I think this has to be like worded, like these have to be descriptive nouns. So they have to be like persons, places, or things. So like you have to be able to put nouns in there, like they're actual things that have happened that help them, or that are like, the things that are happening. So Call to Adventure, yeah, the writing on the screen, supernatural aid, I think that's Trinity. I think the Threshold Guardian is probably Agent Smith. But that's just my interpretation of what a guardian is. The threshold beginning of transformation, I think, would be like the inciting incident, which would probably be him taking the pill, his whole interaction with Morpheus in the process where he like becomes aware of the real world. I would say helper would be, that's a lot. That's interesting because there's a lot of helpers. I say his main mentor is probably like Morpheus and maybe is it Tank that trains him, or who's the guy that trains him?
Well, Tank, is it Tank that puts his ability to fight really well in the system and all
his
that.
Like software programmer. So I feel like Tank and Morpheus are kind of like in that mentor area. But I mean, like all the people, helper can be so broad. So like helper, really, there's a lot of helpers, but in a way, you can even write the antagonistic characters as helpers. In a way, because they learn from them.
You got to pick.
But
that's the point.
The
it's
helper
a simplistic model.
is let's see, the person that
I think
like,
it's
Trinity. If you had to write it as like a unique character, because you'd want to keep it separate from the other characters, maybe. I'm trying to think, like, how would I imagine that the helper that helps him the most during the process of threshold guardian change to when he dies. Let's see, who helps him the most? Who does he learn from the most? Maybe Tank. Maybe. Let's see. That's the next question is when he dies. So the challenge is the Abyss and Death and Rebirth. Obviously, the classic real death is when he actually dies in the movie. But there might be another type of death where I feel like it's the death of his old self, which I would say is when he like begins to like say like, okay, I'm going to go back and save Morpheus. So like that would be like the death of his old version. He says like, okay, I believe in myself now. I believe I can save Morpheus. So he's believing in a new version of himself. So I would agree, like, because that's even almost like the middle point of the movie too. So I argue that's like the death of himself, and that's the beginning of transformation. And the atonement is he saves Morpheus. So that's his atonement for his transformation, is he has to save another character. And the return is his actual death. So the return is he has to go through the threshold of his real death to get back to real life. So he literally has to. I would say the return. So all right. So the only thing I'm missing is, what did I say? The helper and the mentor. So the death I would say is, what did I say it was? The death is. When he decides to come back into the Matrix and save Morpheus. That's his death and rebirth. The transformation is when he kills everybody, fights Agent Smith.
He doesn't come back though. He gets stuck there. You're right.
He comes back. He comes back and he starts fighting everybody in the lobby.
Right.
So that's his transformation. His transformative process is the process through atonement, where he's saving Morpheus. So that's his transformation process. And then the part where it's the return, the actual, the point of like the darkest moment is when he dies and he comes. So the return is the gift of the goddess. So that's interesting. I've never even heard of that as far as the hero's journey. Right. But the gift of the goddess would be Trinity, saying I love you and bringing him back to life. So that would be the gift of the goddess on his return, which is he dies at that point. Boom, he comes back to his original self, but he's now transformed, changed. He's the one. He sees the Matrix in a different code or a different pattern. But the only thing I'm missing is the I would say the helper, the mentor, which would be maybe the helper. So who's the main guy that helps Neo between when he takes the pill and when he becomes the person he's supposed to be, or seeing it might be Trinity.
Maybe my explanation.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to imagine.
Let's just leave it blank.
All right, so
because
I can go quick on what I said.
Yeah.